So welcome back to the channel. I do hope you can hear my voice. It's very windy. But yeah, we're staying local once again. We have returned to Warren Farm Nature Reserve. It's packed with history and I've been really dying to get here to focus on this intriguing location. It did feature in my last video with a lens ball and my bike and a certain challenge from a certain person. But today it's more about the history, which is something which has creeped in to my content and I feel fine about it. It's definitely one of the reasons that inspires me to return to places. So it's going to be a little bit of local history, a little bit of photography, sort of a balance between the two, and I would love it if you join me and come with me. So before we get into any kind of photography, obviously we will, this is the whole point of my channel. But like I say, recently I have been interested quite heavily in local history because there's so much of it. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit now about this place, Warren Farm Nature Reserve, from, you know, a few years ago right up to the present day. So we'll talk about this place first and then we'll get into some photography because it's going to be, fingers crossed, really interesting. Now, in terms of history, Warren Farm is absolutely packed to the gills with it, so this will only be a very short outline of its historical journey. So dating back to at least the Elizabethan period, Warren Farm was a tenancy of the Osterley Park estate. The estate was owned by Sir Thomas Gresham, who opened one of Britain's first paper mills by the River Brent in the 1570s. Now, it's quite hard to prove exactly where the site of this paper mill was, I've found, but I'm very tempted to believe it is what's now called Longwood Nature Reserve. There is a sign as you enter Longwood Nature Reserve which says this is the site of a paper mill owned by Sir Thomas Gresham, so I'm tempted to link the two together. In 1805, Osterley Park came into the ownership of George Child Villiers, the 5th Earl of Jersey. And in the Victorian period, Warren Farm was a working farm run by George Trumper and his family. George opposed the Trumpers Crossing Halt train station that was introduced as an idea in the 1850s and was later built in 1904. The nearby road named Trumpers Way is named after the Trumper family. So what's interesting to note is that the Trumper family definitely made it known how opposed they were to this bit of the Great Western Railway line being introduced. And a quote from a newspaper article says, "It is terrible to retire at night, for we don't know whether we shall be burned in our beds." In 1925, the Countess of Jersey sold Warren Farm to the London County Council for sports usage, but the Depression and World War II disrupted these plans. Warren Farm was run as a farm by the local St Bernard's Psychiatric Hospital until 1961. The London County Council and its successor body, ILEA, in the London Education Authority, used the land as a variety of sports pitches for school children and clubs. In the 1960s, the now derelict changing rooms were erected and football, cricket, netball, tennis, shot put and long jump pitches were put on the site. When ILEA was dissolved in 1990, Warren Farm passed to the London Borough of Ealing. Now, in 2009, the London Borough of Ealing began proceedings to dispose of Warren Farm by means of a 200-year lease at a peppercorn rent, today's equivalent of about £1, to Queen's Park Rangers Football Club. Ealing Council claimed they did not have the funds to maintain the land. The site maintenance stopped and changing rooms were unfortunately vandalised. In 2014, the Save Warren Farm group emerged. They raised money and fought the QPR deal, a deal which, among many other points the group raised, would have stopped public community access, gifting valuable metropolitan open land to a private company for 200 years. A judicial review was sought against LBE on the grounds that LBE had acted unlawfully in disposing of Warren Farm. The judicial review was turned down. QPR are expected to start works on Warren Farm, but no works began, and speculation arose as to whether QPR could afford to proceed with their plans. Now, someone on my last video, which featured, or this place featured in my last video, should I say, they commented and said, this is the kind of place that looks like you may get your camera gear nicked. Luckily, I've chosen a time when there's nobody here. Well, at least I think there's nobody here. So yeah, hope you found the history behind this place intriguing. I definitely found it intriguing. Don't get me wrong, you may look at this place and think it's a hideous mess, it's covered in graffiti, it looks awful. I wouldn't completely disagree with you. If I wasn't into photography and I wasn't looking to explore a new genre, yeah, I'd probably agree with you. However, I am into photography and I do want to explore a new sort of urban, sort of street type of photography. So that's what we're doing today. That's what we're going to try and do. I've come here at sunset time only so that I can almost guarantee being here by myself. Because the nearby field in that direction is very popular with dog walkers and just walkers in general. Because it's a massive field, which is understandable. But we're going to try and get some photographs. And yeah, we're going to try and include some graffiti. We're going to try and make those colours really pop. Because I feel like the photograph I got in my last video, although it included a lens ball and this video won't, I do feel like I was really happy with that photograph. I didn't do too badly. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to try and get some photographs from this very interesting spot. So there we go. I'm going to close the video out with any photographs that I got, which I think are successful, as per the norm. Now, I did say it was going to be a mixture of nature and urban. It is a very interesting mix. But photographically, I was just so transfixed on this one particular part of the graffiti derelict building, which was once a farm and then a sports centre, and then almost very, very nearly something to do with Queen's Park Rangers Football Club. As a Brentford fan, I don't need any more incentive to sign that petition to stop that from happening. So fingers crossed it never does. But yeah, more seriously, I was just transfixed by this particular stanchion, structure. I don't know what to call it as such, but I was just stuck to it. I was stuck to it like glue. They're interesting photographs, I think. I don't think they're like my best that I've ever taken. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. It was an interesting visit, don't get me wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed today's video, vlog, and sharing it with you. And yeah, a little bit of history, local walk. Not a bad sunset. I'm not going to slag it off. Not that that would help. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.